Tim, yeah, that would work against somebody who is in opposite stance for a dropping throw. You can do it standing as well. It depends on the motion that you're looking to do. The hard part a lot of people have is relearning the footwork needed to be able to pull it off. But essentially, I'm assuming you're going to come back and watch this because that was already in the comments like super early. But essentially, there are two types of seos, right? There's one where when you're walking back, you backstep and then rotate into your throw, right? And then there's another one where you actually open and pull into the throw. And a lot of times when you're faking and moving back, you're opening and throwing. And a lot of people, especially in the States, they don't learn that type of, oh, that soda's getting to me. They don't learn that type of seo. That's more for like the Asian culture, the Japanese, the Koreans, the Chinese, the Mongolians. They do that one a lot. There's not one good or bad. It's just, I think just what people are comfortable teaching. And I think a lot of people are comfortable teaching at that angle, right? It just makes more sense. This is my favorite move. Seoi Nage's your favorite move? Nice, high five. It's mine too. I love it. I love it. But essentially what Tim is asking about was, Ryan and I did a video. Let's go, lefty. Yeah. Ryan and I did a video where I showed like, you could like bring somebody off balance and then enter into your throw. Or you could pump fake, boom, catch him off guard, and then enter into your throw, left on right. I think that was the video I released today. And it was more about just asking if you could use that to set up your drop Seoi Nage, pone Seoi Nage for opposite-sided stances. So yeah, that 100% works. But just like always, guys, what's up, Sasaki? How's it going? I'm glad you made this one too. Glad you made this one too. Just like always, we're gonna be going over everything Seoi Nage. We're gonna stay away from defenses because I'm gonna cover that in this Sunday's class when we do transitions, because then I'm gonna talk about how we defend and then transition into our newaza and what we're really looking to do. So we're thinking strictly offense right now. Drop seos, cross grips, opposite-sided stances, right? All those types of things. What's better, drop or not? At the end of the day, it's personal preference. I think on the competitive scene, dropping is what you'll see most. But I personally prefer the standing method. Okay, it takes a little bit more strength, a little bit more athleticism, I think, timing to hit that standing one, but it's definitely the one I prefer. What's up, Ed? Yeah, my favorite, before we get into combinations, Raul, before we do that, I want to get into just a basic understanding of movement and why my Seoi Nage is so effective. And hopefully you guys can see this on camera. So righty, he's on my collar. I'm on his collar, right? Remember the triangle. His off balance is square, right? His off balance is square. So when we're in this stance, I need to gawk him to his off balance, either backward or to the front, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sidestep, but I'm not going to step forward. I don't want my partner to feel like I'm getting physical. Okay? I don't want his nerves to start like firing, going, oh crap, what's he doing? Like I don't want that to happen. So you want to make sure you're not threatening forward, because then Ryan's going to back up because he wants to move away from that Osoto. Okay? So we don't want that. What I want to do is I want to move to the side and I want to push off my leg, okay? I want it to be in a position of power so I can push, and with my straight arm, I can whip Ryan, okay? Just like you would whip somebody, right? So when we're in this position, when I sidestep, I get to that position of power and I move him there. And then when I create that angle and he turns to face me, that's when I can open, right? And it speeds up my Seoi Nage so fast. William, don't worry about it. That's why they have replays. That's why I leave all this stuff up here on YouTube. Oh, and the reason why this is here, everybody, in case you didn't know, I just released the Coffee and Metals t-shirt on judosilencer.com. They're 25 bucks. So if you want one, go get them. judosilencer.com. Coffee and metals. It comes in 2 colors and also a crew neck. Go check it out. But look, when we're here, right, I'm going to sidestep, boom, right there. We enter, and I speed it up. Super fast, right? Boom, right here. It's actually how I threw the Brazilian at the 2012 Olympics, the world #1. Because when we were here, what I did was I started fighting for the hand, and I couldn't get it. And what I did was I threw the hand, I threw his hand, and I threw my other hand at the same time. And when I spun him, I was able to go double collar, right? So I was here, and then I threw him, boom, right off his base, double collar, and I dropped in the games though, just because I felt like I'd have a better shot of pulling him down and then running him over for a simple score. Keith. I like to play Seoi Nage with one hand and shoot opposite side arm. William, I think that's why I threw the design on the crew neck just for Angie. I think she put it in my head that it was needed, so I just filled it up. No, it's not Trapper in the logo. Trapper's a brown bulldog, but I love bulldogs. It took me 3 years to find Trapper, but I'm glad I did. Mr. Crazy, that's why we're here. I'm just here to answer people's questions, give you guys some of my little bit of knowledge that I do have and some of my experiences from being overseas. Keith, you want to throw that question back in there? I just missed it in chat. I didn't get a chance to finish it. Dinos, I don't put that much emphasis on my hips. I put it more into my shoulders for Seoi Nage, right? Because, just go ahead and stand there and then put your arm out, right? Go ahead and grab my gi. My shoulders are where it's at because that's what allows me to rotate and pull my partner off base, right? Rotate and pull. And I can use my upper half of my body in order to effectively get a good, strong pull. Chris, I'll get to your split hip left on right and when, because that's one of my favorite ones. But let me go to Raul really quick, just to elaborate on something we just talked about. So for me, right, there are two types of cross grips. Okay, go ahead and put your hand in. It's the baseball bat method, right? Like you're grabbing it like you would a bat, and you swing it. And then there's the inverted grip where you go palm inside the collar. And I do both, okay? The baseball bat grip is the physical one, right? Where you're yanking and you're trying to rip them down to the ground as hard as you possibly can. And that's the one I used against the Brazilian because when I was here and I turned, my whole thing was to drop and then yank him down. And even if he sticks that arm out, I'm going to pull and I'm going to run him right over. It's actually how I dislocated Flavio's elbow at the 2007 Pan Am Games, that same double collar. Because once I put your hands on the floor and you post out, I'm able to rip right through it and just run you over, right? But the one I use a lot too is the inverted one, which is more of a lifting style. Seotoshi, Taitoshi, Seoi Nage style throw where when I backstep and I come through, my hand elevates so I can punch, right? I feel like I can lift from here, like I got a kettlebell, and I'm gonna lift up into the air. When my hand's inverted, I don't like this. This is a downward motion for me. I want an upward motion. So when I can lift, I can get that extra height well above my body and then bring my partner around. Yeah, Tim, Iliadis likes the inverted one too on the inside, where they grab the collar here, and then he swings that foot through, and then comes around. Yeah, and they both work fine. I think I wouldn't put too much emphasis on it. I would just whichever one's more comfortable, right? That's the one I would kind of go with. Let's go into the left on right, opposite sided. I think Keith had asked that question before, and let's just go over that. So opposite sided people, split hip. When do you do it? Okay, that's question one. Let's scoot this way into the center. There we go. When do you do it? Normally, I think it would be easier to see this way. Yeah, left foot forward. So left foot on the line, and then turn. Yeah, there you go. Okay. So when you're left on right and you're here, you want to think straight lines. Let's imagine this line is our line. You want to kind of shoot through at an angle. Okay. You don't want to be turn. There you go. You don't want to be here and then reaching because I don't want to hit this hip. I don't want my butt on this leg. I want to slide through diagonally through my partner. Okay. Stay there, stand sideways, perfectly sideways. There we go, head back. I want to slide through to the back. So when I go through, stretch legs. When I go through, I'm in the front, and when I stab, my hip beats this line. Okay, that's the important part. I leave enough space where I can sheet to that inside and then slide. And then my hip comes across, and I'm in a good, stable platform. Okay, scoot this way. There we go. And stand square to the camera. Perfect. Right at me like a lefty. There we go. But don't scoot. Scoot. There we go. That way. There we go. We're here. Now, when I'm doing Seoi Nage, it's because I've lost the head battle, which is super important to realize. Because remember, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to punch them right here in the soft spot. Okay, I'm taking the top knuckles here, and I'm grinding them right into their midsection. Okay? A lot of times you'll see me punching, pulling, and look at my body raise because I'm trying to get on top of my partner and pull his head down. That way when he fights it up, go ahead, and I let it go, see how his head just kind of sprung up there? I released it, okay, like an inverted mousetrap. This time it's opening, right? So when I'm here and I'm fighting, when I go, I step, and then my head slides off so that when he pops up, I can slide through and I can get nice and low into that position so that I can get a good solid lift into a throw. So it's when I have good control here and then I feel him starting to pick his head up, let it slip, okay? Don't move back, move in front. That way when his head picks up, you can make that step and you can get your good solid lift in order to finish that throw. There are a couple of other like a lefty. There you go, hands up. There are a couple of you're going to punch and go. Remember we talked about that in the concepts one, right? In the stances, 1, 2, why I can do that. 1, 2, step, and beat him all the way to the outside and finish like your Seoi Toshi method. That works as well too. But again, it's that movement where, stand in the center. Nope, facing them, there you go. Where I'm off to the side and I square up and step in front. But look at my hip, right? When I square up, I face him a little bit because I'm looking to whip, okay? I'm looking to get that sway in my body and my shoulders and hips and my core to strengthen that movement, okay? Because keep standing that way. Because when I'm here and I square up, right, I don't want to move away and then go back. I want to sway and then power through that position, okay? No different than you would load a punch and then throw it, okay? That's kind of like the idea that we're going for. Do you prop your hips up? Do you prop your hips up to lift your opponent easier? I'm not sure I understand that question. Sevi, you have a problem with uke thrusting their hips to defend the Seoi. You've got to work in, you have to work in the osotos. You guys have to, right? A lot of times, so what you're going to do is just kind of, stand square, and just kind of hit. Yeah, there you go. So when you come in and you're like, and you catch it, right? Dude, it hurts. I'm not going to lie. That sucks. That's like one of the worst things that could happen for a Seoi guys to get hip checked right in the lower back. Right? The other one that's really frustrating, guys, when this happens, go ahead and turn your opponent Seoi Nage. When this happens, and they hook this leg. Because no matter, when they hook this leg, there's no turning this shoulder that way. Go ahead and try to turn that shoulder that way. Like they hook and that you're kind of stuck, right? That's another really annoying defense. But anyways, back to this hip in thing, right? So when I feel like I've been hip checked, okay, at least twice, never once, at least twice, I show it. I show it, right? Like I wind up for this. Because when I wind up, he gets ready to hip check, and then boom, I change the angle. I change the angle. And the cool thing about it is the Osoto doesn't actually have to work, right? I don't have to actually score. He could actually turn out, yeah, and then belly out. And then all I did was put the fear of God into him that I'm going to go backwards. So that hip check is going to be a lot less powerful, and you can power through it at that point, okay? The other thing that you can do is you can snap the head down. So if he's got that right foot forward and he's hip checking you and you feel like you can't get in, you can move this leg, boom, snap his head down, and then when he picks it up, you can go in again, okay? You got to mix up the back and forth. You're leaving your partner too stagnant, and then they're able to smash you with that hip. But when they're moving and picking their head up, they're not going to be able to have that power to throw it in. They're more likely to sprawl, right? I get a good back and forth. So the number one defense for me is everybody lets go and they starfish. And they just try to put their belt on the floor. They like jump back and go starfish, right? They drop everything when I do a standing sail. And it kills the lower back. I think I'm gonna have chronic pain for like the rest of my life because of people starfishing and basically jumping into their sprawls. Dino, I got Shidos all the time for it. Not gonna lie, but to me it was always worth it because I'm glad you like that, William. It's like, don't throw me, yeah. Like they try to reach as far and wide to like make sure something touches the mat. They're like, happens all the time. He does it to me all the time. He just goes starfish. Sometimes like I'll pump fake a throw and before I know it, I'm hanging onto a guy's collar and they're like this. And I'm like, what are you doing? You're not even going to try to defend it. You're just going to let go. It happens all the time. But the other good thing about it is I was a little aware as far as like where the refs were. So when I'm here, right, like if the ref is over here, like I know to like move that guy so like you guys can't see where that hand is right now. So I can keep that angle all the time and make sure that that ref can't see it until I'm ready to take my shot, right? So you've got to be kind of aware of your surroundings. But here's a concept a lot of people don't practice, okay? I want to drop some like super helpful ways for you guys right now just to improve your Seoi, but your judo in general, okay? You want to make sure your timing is smooth, okay? And it's one of the biggest things I see in American judo players is they don't have smooth judo, okay? If their partner is standing there, right, they can pretty much like 1, 2, 3, throw. They can move down the mat and then they can throw. But what they can't do is they can't blend the movement, the snap, and the throw all together where uke is constantly moving through the throw, okay? And what I mean by that is this. If I move back with Ryan and then I push him, see how he goes back? There's like a steady like pause there. They push and then they get this big pull, but they've pushed Ryan back, right? They've pushed their partner back. So one of the things you want to be able to practice, right? Oh, I'll loosen up my shoulder here. See if I can do a standing sail. You want to be able to bounce your partner 1, 2, and then through the throw, right? Where your partner is always moving, and it's practice with pulls. Okay, let's go off at an angle. Right, when you pull, it should be step, pull, down, look at my motion, up, pull, down, up, pull, right? There's always motion. It's like a wave, okay? There's always this wave in your judo, right? Even when you watch high-level guys, they're always like snap, pull. It's down, up, down, up. So what you want to do is you want to go down, up, down for your entry, right? So just stand there. Down, up on the back step, down, up on the back step, catch them. And that's how you're going to release all that pressure on your wrist, your elbow, and your shoulder when you're trying to do that drop Seoi, right? Or that standing, which you call me for that Seoi. Down, up, down. Down, up, down. And then you want to make sure you can time that with your motion, okay? So when you're here, right? Down, nope, go ahead and stand square. Yeah. Down, up, and then you get nice and low. Ooh, almost broke the mic there on my belly fat. But yeah, so when you're here, right? Down, up, and then Ryan, my partner, is always moving through the throw, okay? What you don't want to do is have this. Other way. You don't want to have this. You don't want to go down and then he's stagnant, okay? You want to make sure, put your stand square. You don't want to go down, up, rotate. See how there was no up with my hands? He's still flat-footed. You don't want to go down, up, and then freeze. And that's like 90% of all judo players right there, right? Right here. Down to here. There's not like an up with the motion. Up with the motion into your throw, regardless of the throw, okay? So when you have a partner, try it. You could do it with kids, right? You just grab the back of the collar and the hand and just practice down, up, down. Down, up, down. Yeah, that's most people, I'm telling you. If you ever record yourself, you could see it. I've actually been doing it for so long, it's hard for me to do the other way. But I'm telling you, I see it all the time. Here's a good way to see it. Here's one I can do that I see people do all the time, all the time. We do combinations, okay? Everybody does them, you practice all your moves, but here's like the number one like pet peeve I have. They change their angle. They push, they pull, and they're here. So essentially what they did was they stood here and went, catch. Then they turn. Right? You see how Ryan pauses and then I enter? Right? I turn him, I push him away for space, and then I enter. I turn, push Ryan still, then I enter. Okay? And the idea is, yes, you could make that pause as minimal as possible, right? But if you had like a little bit of foresight, you could actually plan that down-up rhythm, okay? Where when you're here, if I step and pull him down, right? See how low I am? When Ryan stands up, I backstep, and I can actually amplify his recovery to amplify the power of the throw, okay? When I'm here, down, up, and in. So Ryan's moving, okay? All the time he's moving. Down, there, and I can feel that space. And I have a big high pull. My hands aren't just, they're not just hanging out, right? They're not just down here or just taking Ryan's head off, right? You can see the difference when I go down and I use my legs to hit that big pull and that big extension. Yes, Chris, attack the rebound, right. And the same thing happens when I change the angle here, right? When I change that angle, and then it's a big explosion up that other side where I can use the weight of my body and the force plus my partner's movement in order to hit the throw, right? How do you prevent getting choked after drop semi? I'm assuming that means Seoi. I always, yeah, for the most part, like I don't want to get into like the few times you wouldn't do it. But for the most part, right, it doesn't matter what you're doing. Just stand there. Right here. There you go. Down, tile, right? Down, tile. Down, see my first step right at the top of the triangle. Up, hurrah. I catch him on his up, right? You guys want to think of judo? I hate this analogy. I hate it with a passion. I hate it, but we're going to use it because it's what's on my mind. You want to think of judo like chess, okay? I get to do something. He gets to do something. I get to do something. He gets to do something. Now, where you can break the rules, right? Where you get to break these rules is when there's a skill gap, okay? Where you have like the high-level guy just seeing everything that's going on, right? Everything that's going on. And you got this guy thinking he's being super clever, which is 4-move checkmate, and you're like, you're an idiot. Okay, I'm not in 3rd grade, right? 4-move checkmate don't work. But look, when I'm on this side, right? Here's my first move. I step and pull. Ryan's next move is to stand up, right? And recover the position. So move your feet into a good position. Boom, back step. Right? See how I amplify that and I can catch him? What everybody else tends to do, right, is they tend to change the angle. Now Ryan gets a move. What does he do? You know what I mean? Like, he's not actually recovering from being put in a bad spot because they forgot to train the bend. Okay? There's a muscle here. There's a specific muscle group that you need in order to do that, right? When I want to hit somebody with an Osoto, boom, and you drive that corner. You know what I mean? You got to drive the corner. Don't embrace the 4-move checkmate. Don't do that. Don't be that guy. Don't be him. Nobody likes that guy. But it's the same thing. It's the same thing with Seoi, right? And this right arm. Because this is the hand, the collar hand, is the hand everybody struggles with. And we talked about this the last time, right, on Sunday. Corey, keep your hands down. Is if I'm here, my hand is flat on his chest. When I rotate, I can't, the gi physically, right? It doesn't move past that. You have to take the slack out to get it all the way across. If I tighten this back up, even if it's loose and it's out, right? When you grab it and you just pull it, nothing. But if you pull it out and around, you gain that extra bit because the shoulder, right? I pull the shoulder forward and then the jacket makes it. If I leave the shoulder back, the jacket doesn't go anywhere. Even if I pull my shoulder back and pull it up, the jacket still doesn't go anywhere. So you want to use this collar, right, to pull this shoulder forward a little bit so that this hand can cheat across the body. So when you're here, it's boom. Look at that. Look how I use my body. Then when I'm ready, I can drop underneath, and then we can score, and there's no pressure on my right arm. And again, we're talking solely just being able to practice judo in your clubs. When you start getting into randori and competitive sessions, you gotta, it might hurt a little bit, because you gotta, sometimes you force it. A lot of times you force it, right? But at the end of the day, right, you still wanna make sure you're following all the good principles of judo. Oh, and some of you guys who are just coming in, you may notice the little website here, my website. I just launched the Coffee and Medals t-shirt. It's up right now, 25 bucks. Comes in a crew neck in a couple colors and a t-shirt in a couple colors. Go check it out. BJJ is starting to get behind the concept of positional sparring to speed up the learning process. Do you think positional sparring is acceptable in Tachiwaza, or would it turn into a show? I 100% agree with situational stuff. We even do it, right? We'll start rounds like this, right? 50-50. Who's going to win? Now it's judo. It's not, and the kicker is, it's up to the athlete, right? The two athletes who are involved to actually treat this like a game, right? A lot of people treat it with their ego, right? They don't want to get thrown. They don't want to do this. They feel embarrassed, whatever it is. Judo's a game when you're at practice. You've got to like problem solve. You got to try things. You got to have fun with it. okay? It's like when we do certain drills and it's like, okay, here's a drill that we do. Here's a drill that we do. Ryan is going to take his favorite grip. I've done nothing, right? My hands aren't anywhere on the gi, right? And this is one you guys can do, okay? Ryan's got his favorite grip, okay? And the reason why we do this is because Ryan, regardless of how good he is, he cannot prevent me from ever grabbing the gi, okay? Once he takes his grip, go ahead and take a different grip. Sure, now let's try a third one. Let's just, perfect, right? My hands can grab the gi somewhere to do something, right? So what you want to practice at home is I've got my grip. Here's what we're answering. I've got my grip and Ryan grabs my hip. Yep. And you're like, but I can't do anything. But you also can't stop it. So you have to learn, go ahead and hold on to that. You have to learn how to like use that elbow to pop that grip off while moving around so that you can take an easy shot. So what we do is Ryan takes his favorite grip, and we did this at Tokai a lot too. Ryan takes his favorite grip, and it's like, okay, now I'm going to take my grip. This is my defensive grip from right here since I can't get to the wrist. This is my defensive grip. And then look, because we're standing so close, look what I can do with this hand. I'm just going to go right here, okay? And now it's a live go. We'll go 2 minutes just like that. Ryan will get his 2 minutes of fame where he gets to fire off as many shots as he can. And it's my job to actually stand there and say, hey, I'm going to use positioning and technique and feints and hand positioning to fight. Because what happens is judo players actually forget, because it's not taught, that when I say you can't attack, that doesn't mean you can't be proactive, right? If I'm going with Ryan and he takes his favorite grip and I'm in here and I'm not allowed to attack, that doesn't mean that like every time Ryan moves, I can't like move him off his base, right? When he goes the other way, that doesn't mean I can't like pull to make sure he can't attack. Because if I can keep snapping his feet to the ground every time you hear that, he can't actually take a step for an entry. So the idea for the other player is to actually play in such a way where they're not going to get a Shido because they're willing to stand up, but at the same time, like, see, you hear that? Like, I can move his feet, right? Like, I may want to, like, change that angle where I'm not necessarily taking a shot, but I'm being proactive, right? I'm learning how to move my hands, move the position, feel when he's ready to go so that I can snap the gi and move. A lot of times, I'll just stand here with players, right? And I'll say, okay, take your shot. And I'll just kind of flinch. And every time I feel, I get a gut instinct like, oh, he's going to fire a shot. I'll just change that angle and get a little physical for a couple seconds. We'll dial it back down. And then when I feel like I'm in danger again, I'll get a little physical with my hands again, right? I'm being proactive. We kind of got off the topic of the Seoi Nage, but hopefully everybody understands that like I 100% am on board with that situational style of judo, right? It's just, I think it's super beneficial. The problem is I think we don't have enough people who can set their egos aside and treat it the way it's supposed to be treated. And then they just kind of like, you know, abuse the situation. Like I see people all the time, right? Sometimes what we'll do is we'll say, okay, I'll take my favorite grip. Ryan's going to grab whatever he can, okay? And then it's like, okay, now it's just a live go. He can throw me, I can throw him, but we can't break any grips, okay? We can change grips, but we can't break them, so let's not take an illegal grip. Maybe just grab like, yeah, there you go, right? But what happens is guys will go like this. They'll like do Uchimata, and they'll feel like Ryan's going to counter me, and then they'll let go, and then they'll bail. And it's like, but you weren't supposed to let go of the gi. Like, you've got to learn. You have to learn to make a commitment. And if you make the wrong commitment, get punished for it so that it sticks in your head, because what happens is athletes take a shot, and they're not punished in their minds because they weren't thrown, that they feel like it's okay. But that's not the point of the drill. The point of the drill is to make a commitment to your grip, right? He makes a commitment to his, and if I come in and Ryan starts trying, stay there, turn, Soto, and he starts trying to, whoa, you're grabbing the mic. Just stay there, just turn like Soto. Lift your leg. And he starts trying to throw me. I'm not going to just let go just to get out of the situation. If he throws me, good for him. I need to learn my lesson, right? I need to learn while I'm in the position here, if he's countering me, like how can I get out so that I can still be offensive? That's like the one good thing the Japanese do that the rest of the world doesn't, right? That's why if you ever hear like high-level athletes talk about Japanese players that they're about to fight, the longer you're in a situation with a Japanese player where the grips haven't been broken, the greater the advantage to the Japanese player. I don't care who you are, they have the advantage. Because they're so used to being able to move that jacket and move the body that like they can find those angles because they know what they're doing, right? They have the techniques to back it up. Whereas everybody else they just make an attack and they're like, nope, bail out. But then they come back and they do the exact same thing. And what they do is they try to wear that guy out so much that he can't play defense anymore, and then their bad throw works. That's a terrible way to try to get better. A terrible way. What's better for BJJ, Morote or Ippon Seoi Nage? Personally, I would cross grip because this is going to work for your collar drag down to the ground. This is going to work for your kochi to ankle picks, right? It's going to work for your duck to the back. For jiu-jitsu, it's going to be a little bit more versatile than a standard Morote Seoi Nage or Ippon Seoi Nage. Right? You can also set up your loop chokes, right? Like I could bounce Ryan's head back, pull him down, loop it underneath, dive for the leg. I could do all sorts of crazy things. Big whoa. I'm glad you find that interesting. Right? There's a difference between training to win a competition and training to get better. It's one of the biggest problems in like American judo right now is everybody feels like they just need to go fight and then they forget to actually train to get better. And you got to make sure you're doing that. You can't just train all the time to win competitions unless you're at that upper echelon. And the problem is there's not really anybody in the States that's at the upper echelon. So you have to actually take the time to develop and get better technically by understanding the positions and the threats, as well as the offense, right? No, Tim, I don't like Korean Seo for jiu-jitsu guys because they don't make enough of a commitment. And if you do a Korean Seo and they sit to guard, your arm is exposed, right? Because when you make that turn, like it's going to get pulled out, and that's not good for anybody. That's not good for anybody. Yeah, William, cross grips are the world, especially for jiu-jitsu. Cross grip all day long, all day long. It'll save your life. It'll save your life, I'm telling you. No, there's not. But what you want to do to set up your Korean Seo, right? Let's assume Ryan here's a lefty because that's usually when it's done is left on right. Okay, and when I'm in this position, what you'd want to do is you'd want to snap and you'd want to bring your back foot in, snap, and then go over the head to the triceps. So put your arms up like we're gripping. There we go. You would want to snap and then reach for that tricep while you're trying to hook the Osoto, because then when Ryan steps out, boom, and moves, that's going to give you that distance, okay? And it's going to help keep him at bay to keep this arm nice and loose. Because if he crunches it in on you, right, and you're like this, you can't quite get that Korean Seo the way you would like. So you'd want to be able to like, boom, blast him, get him to step out, and now you could hit it, right? Yeah, Rico, I was never a big reverse Seo guy. I would do it every once in a while, but at the end of the day, like, I'm more like, I want to be right in front of you. Chris, yes. I had a very traditional Japanese coach growing up. So to me, it's been normal, right? Paul, what do you mean cross grip to Seoi Toshi? For what? I'm not sure what that's in reference to. But yeah, like I'm so used to it. Like for me, we always like 1, 2, 3, that down up pull. Like your pull should be down and then open, down, open, and then close it off. Right? You need that space to fit your body. And it's the same thing when you pull Furuchimata. Like you need that hand. Cross grip Seoi Toshi is 100% effective. And anybody who tells you differently, just kick them in the shin. And don't worry about running because they don't know how to fight. Don't worry about it. Look, I love this throw. I love it. And one of the ones I really like is, go ahead and go ready. Ready? There you go. And then post. Right? Is Europeans, for whatever reason, they don't understand that they can be thrown when you grab the collar. So when you're here, right, a lot of times like I'll be leaning, get a stance. There you go. And I'll like see how like I'm starting to like use my front leg to pull Ryan a little bit. I'll just start like pulling, and that'll give me that ability to hit that one-handed taio, hit the one-handed osoto, hit the kochi to taio, right? It gives you that ability. But also when he's defending that sleeve and that collar so much, when you're able to hit that cross grip, block the eyes, sidestep, steal the hand, and then there's your taio, right? I love that throw so much. Not a fan, Dane. I know a lot of people use it, especially the Japanese use it, and I think the biggest misconception a lot of people have with it is, can I borrow you? Yeah. Let's turn this way. Go ahead and stick your arm out. When they see people take this armpit grip, like the idea is, watch your hands on the mic. Yeah. The idea is when you have it, put your arm back. There. You see how he stumbled? It's because I'm actually grabbing the gi that is out here. So while my hand is in the armpit, I'm not down here on the collar where Ryan can just grab my neck. That's not what's happening. When they grab it, they go like more bicep and armpit so that they have control. This is the grip Ono uses. He doesn't necessarily, he does sometimes, but even when he's here, you'll see him push the whole gi into this armpit because then when he punches it off, look how short Ryan's arm is now. Right? If I just take a grip down here and punch, Ryan can still grab my neck. So they take the whole gi in here and they try to like work their knuckles into it and gather it so that it's straight and pops off. And now it works as a pull. So stick your arm straight up, like out wide. Yeah. When they're here, when you pull, like you can pull that arm towards you. What Americans do is you're like, I'm gonna be like the Japanese because they think it's cool, and then they screw it up. And they go, put your arm straight out. And they go like this, and then they pull, and nothing happens. But when you grab more of like the shoulder region, and it's still in the armpit, you can pull him, his whole body, because you can pull that shoulder, not just in here, right? You're not grabbing the stitching here on the seam. You're actually going into this armpit material so that you can pull that shoulder muscle forward, right? And that's why their throws are so effective from here, because when they take it and they pull with it, you actually can't post, right? But if I go into the armpit and then I pull, reach for the mat, reach out, behind you. Yeah, like I can't pull that forward, right? But when I'm here, reach back. When I'm here, like I can pull him forward from there. And it's just a game of inches. And I'm going to tell you right now, like there are some times where they go into this armpit, but it's because they're doing it from a losing grip. But when you watch Ono and even Koga, they go here on the shoulder, not underneath the arm so that they get clubbed in the face. right? Chris, thank you for the super chat. Love that chicken wing, Seoi Nage. Thank you. So yeah, that's just a little bit of like small details on that grip. And I've never had the luxury of fighting somebody that's actually had to use that and they've actually used it to effect, right? I know people have tried it, but I've never had a guy actually grab my armpit. Yep. And then I felt like, oh, there's nothing I can do from here, and I keep getting the crap kicked out of me. Like, that's not what that grip was to me. I found like most people used it, and I was like, oh, I can't throw them, but they're not throwing me either. So it's like a catch-22. But I know a lot of people do use it, like Haga throws Uchimata with it all the time. Ono throws Osoto with it all the time. The one thing I will say is if your Osoto or your Uchimata sucks as is, that grip is not fixing it. Right? Those people have good technical fundamental bases, and then they use advanced things to make it a little bit different to catch their opponents off guard. Those specialty grips don't fix your terrible judo, right? We got to be straightforward with that. You are not going to get good using fancy grips to fix your terrible judo. Your judo still sucks. Tim, left on right. Scoot to the center. Yeah, there you go. Left on right, okay? Tricks and combinations for Seoi Nage left on right. Okay, first one. The first one. Dang, that wasn't directed at you. That was just kind of a blanket statement thrown out there, you know, for those of you guys that, you know, might be offended. Too bad. Anyways. Go ahead and stand, like give me a little bit of strength. There you go. So he's giving me a little bit of, William, thank you for the $2 super chat. I love it. No special grips will fix your bad judo. That is right. Don't try to get fancy to fix your terrible judo. Go back to the fundamentals class, right? Go check out my beginner judo courses, that playlist. Go check it out. Stay out of the advanced section. Learn some basics. But look, here's one of the, like, I'm not going to call it a combination because it's more of a feint, but it's something that I used a lot. So when you can get the inside, okay, guys, hold on. We got to have a conversation really quick. Just I feel like if I do this without explaining it, you guys are going to go do it, and then you're going to suck, and then you're going to look at me and go, Travis doesn't know what he's talking about. So before I answer that question, we got to teach a technique before the technique. Okay, now look. If I have under control on Ryan, but Ryan has over the top, but look, Ryan's fist, lower your fist a little bit, there you go, is in front of my shoulder, okay? It's in front of my shoulder. I keep it there. I can't turn and throw. It doesn't matter how high my hand is. If he can keep it in front of my shoulder here, I cannot turn through that, okay? So look, he's in front of my shoulder right now. I can't make that turn. So what you want to work on is a pop and go. So I move my back leg, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop, and then pop. So there. And now, stay here, Ryan. Look, his hand is to the outside of my arm. So now I can turn my shoulder because before it's inside, and I need to get it on top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop, and then out. And now that it's outside, now I can attack. So that's step one. Okay, that's step one. We gotta get it off the shoulder. So what we do is we feint. But what you do is you do a double feint. You pop and go, feint to lower your level, and then blast them for the drop Seo. Okay? Now look. Okay, he's got that hand here. Nope, inside. Yeah, nice. Oh, there you go. Nope, nice and tight, nice and tight. There. You can see that my hand is even a little low. But notice that I'm keeping it in because I want to pop and go. I'm trying to be offensive. I'm not pushing him away. I'm trying to bring him in. Ryan's arm is pushing me away from him. I'm pulling Ryan to me. He's pushing me away from him. So what we're going to do is we're going to step, pop, and here. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to act like I'm going to go. Boom. And now I can pop. That knee goes through. I drop underneath. and now we can go. Okay, so there's 2 feints in 1 throw. So when I'm here, that hand is down, I always keep my chin over the top of it when we're doing it for real. That way I can get that good grip here so that I can, boom, pop, little bit of a feint, boom, underneath, up and over for the finish, okay? So you can notice that I turned him a little bit. I had like a little ratchet there from the feint, getting him to react and shift to the side. Now, that's 1, okay? That's 1 motion. The second one is gonna be a reach, okay? No grip for this one, just stand like a lefty. Stand like a lefty. There you go. Spread your legs a little bit more. There you go. When we're here and he's like this, what we're gonna do is we're gonna pop, and this time I'm gonna get offensive with my go. Offensive with my go. Pop and go, koshi. That way, now when I change my angle, I can move him into the throw, okay? The negative to not using the second feint is, and thank you again, William, for the super chat. I love it. Thank you, guys. I'm glad everybody likes what I have to say. But the reason for the second feint is you want your partner to get away from the strong resistance, right? When you first knock somebody off balance, they're going to have 2 reactions. They're going to either A, just try to recover as quick as possible, or B, they're going to freak out and they're going to be playing 100% defense to whatever the hell is coming next. And that tends to be most people, right? When Ryan keeps this grip here and it's nice and strong, when I bump and go, he's freaking out. This is not a good position for him. I am so open to do anything I want. But remember, while he's that open, he is also thinking, man, 100% defense. And the only reason why I'm showing the second feint is because it's important. You're going to have to, as you get better, right? You're going to have to learn how to, give me a little bit of tension. Yeah, there you go. You're going to have to learn how to like decide, like, can you just go? Can you do that? 100% yes. But if you do, right, there's also that chance of, I bump and I go, you know what? I'm just going to go Uchimata. But then Ryan runs behind me. And now all of a sudden I'm getting countered because you didn't realize what type of defense he was playing. And the only way to get good at that is through reps. That's why sometimes if you guys go on YouTube, which I hope you do because you're here, and you watch any of like the Japanese clips, you'll see them do this, right? You'll see them like, and then they'll move the guy, but look at my arm, it's way over here. Then they'll go. It's because they're getting those second and third feints in there to make his defense a little bit lighter. Because that first one is like, holy crap. We call it the 1 second rule, right? Knock them off their base, count for 1 second, they'll take a deep breath, and they'll go, oh, that was all he did. And then they'll recover, and then you blast them, right? It's you just give that small hesitation. And that's what the second feint does. Somebody who is super good at it, okay, for those of you guys who don't know him, Jun from Korea, undefeated on the world and Olympic stage. Undefeated. World champion, Olympic champion, undefeated. Super good. He was a master at feint, and you didn't know if he was ever going to feint or he was going to throw for real. You had no idea, right? And that's kind of the idea behind having that second feint, because from a developmental standpoint, you're going to need it. You don't necessarily need it from a competition standpoint, so I think it's an important reaction that you're going to want to have. Chris, yes, there is an Osoto there, but it's not stronger. It's not stronger than my Ochi, my Kochi, or my Uchimata. Okay, as the offensive player, right? But if I do nothing, then yes, he can counter me, right? If If I bump Ryan's arm off and I get to here and I just stand here and I'm like all relaxed, yeah, he could almost bear hug you and lay you out. Thank you, DY, for throwing his full name in there. You guys drop that in Google, check him out. He actually shot an instructional for Judo Fanatics. Okay, so it's going to be a great thing for you guys to be able to go check out. Savvy, you always want inside. And I say that, you know, as somebody who never played from the inside. Because look, if you want to do a Seoi, which is what this whole thing is about, inside, it's almost impossible to do a Seoi from here. And I know there are people out there that show drop Seos from here, but those are super competitive and super rare situations. And the athlete who throws somebody like that will tell you that was not their plan. They just felt like they had to get something off, and then they turn nothing into something. Right? So that's never plan A. Plan A is always inside control. Okay? When you turn for those, you always get your feet in between your opponents, or does it not matter where you place your feet, so as long as your hips are in front of his hips? Ascend, for the purposes of Seoi Nage, you always want your feet inside, or at least your hips square and one foot to the outside. Normally the foot to the outside is the side that you are throwing towards. Okay, so if I'm a righty, I throw towards my right foot, so my right foot can be outside his leg, and then throw. Yeah, Hernandez did show it in his Judo Fanatics instructional for Seoi Nage. He did. And he did a good job doing it. You guys should check it out. Can you attack Ryan's left side going under both arms? Yours and his with your left arm. Are you talking about when I throw this hand over the top? Can I come in like bear hug style and pancake him, Paul? Wait for Paul to kind of answer that question if that's what he's referring to. Paul, you there? Type. No, going for Seoi. No, I would never. Guys, this is such, if you could ever get your hand on top of your partners like this and do judo, you should. Like I'm so comfortable from this position on just winning on all levels that like this is where I'd want to be. And yeah, I would never want to get to here, let go, to do a Seoi to the left side. I personally wouldn't. What is the strongest Seoi variation? By strongest, I mean high percentage. It really depends on what you're developing. But I think as far as like, if we had to look at all the IJF stats, I would have to say a cross grip drop Seoi or a two hands drop Seoi would probably be the highest percentage. But that's only because it's probably the most frequently thrown. That's I think the only reason for that. Dane, one of the throws that I see all the time, I never did it as an athlete. I probably should have. As far as Judo Fanatics best content out there. Thank you, Chris. I'm glad you like it. We put a lot of hard work into it. Guys, go check it out. If you use the code Travis25, you'll save 25% on any instructional on the site, including mine. Okay, I know we go all over the place here on YouTube, but the stuff I actually shoot for Judo Fanatics is very like regimented and like thought out. Here it's kind of like a blah of just information thrown. You guys got to figure out what you're going to do with it. But look, change of direction. Look at Kitadai from Brazil, 60 kilos. Okay, he was phenomenal at this. Go ahead and spread your legs. Scoot this way, and then spread your legs and lower your hips a little bit. He was, I'm not even sure like how he did it, but it works. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys like the Cliff Notes version because I'm definitely not an expert in this. So if you guys ask anything beyond what I have to say, I'm not going to have an answer for you. I'm just going to be upfront with you. This is not my thing. But what he does was, when he does his drop Seoi, right, what would happen is this guy on top would hit him with that hit me with that hip, and they'd start ripping out, right? And he's like, I can't get in. So what he developed was saying, okay, you're going to hit me with this hip and you're going to turn that way. I'm just going to throw you that way. But he's going to do it with a drop Seoi / Ouchigari. And here's what he did. He basically, when he would turn and drop, he would hook Ouchi. So it looks like this. It looks like there. And look, he would plant them just like that. And I was like, that's genius. I don't do it, but it's genius. Because it uses the anticipation of that defense to actually roll them over that backside. And he threw a lot of people with it. Crazy. I don't know how you guys would go through like his judo base to find it. I can't think of a match off the top of my head, but Kitadai. He's Brazilian. He medaled at the 2012 London Olympic Games. He bronzed. Okay, but you can check that out. It works like a charm. Right? It's super slick. It's super slick. And he threw a ton of people with it. And it's starting to pick up on the IJF circuit right now. Gabriel. There it is, Dane. Thank you for throwing it in chat. Thank you for throwing his name in chat. Guys, check out the chat right there. Go throw his name in Google. See if you can actually go on YouTube. Just put that in and say like highlight reel or montage or competition footage or something and see if it's like in there. And yes, Basili does something very similar as well where he does a drop Seoi Ouchi to the back as well. And it's a great combination. It's a great combination. I personally never did it. I was more of like the sledgehammer. So like I just drove you over until it worked because I was physically very strong and I could do that. But one of the questions in chat, I don't remember who asked, but they asked, why do people emphasize the footwork for the Seoi Nage when we traditionally see split hip and standing and dropping? Because your footwork is actually, can you go square? Your footwork is actually the same even when you're dropping, right? It's the same 1-2, it's just in a sliding method. And it also helps develop the core strength and the shoulder strength, and it's gonna help your timing, right? Think about what happens if you had to drop every time you wanted to do an uchikomi. How many uchikomis would you do in an hour? Versus the guy who can actually like smoothly like just 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, his uchikomis all the way through. That's why the footwork is super important. Yes, Dinos, he does. You guys should check out his this is like a Judo Fanatics like live stream all of a sudden. But he also, I was impressed when he showed his firemen's on Judo Fanatics. I remember being there with him filming it going, oh, that's nifty. And his foot sweep. Me and the guy who did the video for his foot sweep, we actually had to watch it in slow motion and it looked real speed because he was so fast with his feet. I think I threw it up on Instagram in slow motion and people think it's real time and it's not. I dumbed it down like 40, 50%. Super fast. What is your personal favorite combination involving Seoi? My personal favorite combination. Man, I'm really into just fire at home. Just fire it in there and just let it rip. Just let it rip. That's my personal favorite. When I think of combinations, I think untraditionally, right? I think out of the box a little bit. And I like to actually set my opponents up a few attacks before. So, for example, if I'm looking for my opponent, Seoi Nage, like I might like pump, Ouchi. Okay, we come back. I might like boom, Kouchi and hit him, right? I may like play with this leg and then I'll blast him. But everything went to the rear. That way I get him to play defense, so he leans forward a little bit and then I time it and then I can just hit him just one shot. And if you guys ever watch any of my highlight reels, a lot of times I set up my Seoi Nage from gripping positions where I just walk my partner down and then I'm able to go. I let them feel like they can escape and then I beat them to the punch, right? That like, there's like an angle there that you can find that they just can't play defense to at some point. So I wasn't really into the like, hey, do this throw and then right back into it. No. If I'm going to throw you, I'm going to throw you. I'm going to go for broke on first one because my ego gets involved. Tim, yeah. So go ahead and stand square. Yep. There you go. Okay, feint. Wave through the body. So give me some resistance. Give me some resistance, like flexor. There. Look at Ryan's head. See that like whip I get? That's what's going to disrupt his train of thought and his ability to like focus and zone in. That like snap. So what you do is you kind of like square off a little bit. You square off a little bit. There. And now I'm a little bit more in front from this angle here where Ryan's standing, where Ryan's kind of square on, right? Like I'm not just here. I'm actually like there. And see, I cheat that. I cheat in front of him. And I gain those couple of extra inches so that when I do drop, it's less time for him to actually play that defense where he can throw that knee right into my spine and then hit me in my back. And then I don't do a drop Seoi for like 2 weeks because that's never good. No, Sevi, there's not. There's not. And I know what you're talking about because that's how I beat Petrie at the European Championship for the Bundesliga. Because I actually did a drop Seoi and he actually threw that knee and it hit me right in my side. And then I was able to reach down, grab that ankle, and then kind of run him over and get the score and kind of hang on for that to get the win. So I understand what you're saying when you're talking about being able to get that ankle, but there's no real way around it. What you'd want to try to do is you'd want to try to time both of your attacks, okay? So one of the things we try to tell our kids to do, scoot this way, is when you do your drop Seoi and you're falling short, try to think about getting that lead leg. Again, it can be to the outside. So when you drop so that this leg is to the outside. So if he does step over and steps in front, boom, it's close enough so that you can still do that koichi. Okay? So like that's something that you could like kind of play around with because when you drop, when he goes to step over, you can drive up for the finish. Or if he's too heavy, when he steps over, you can hook that koichi and still finish. Square is the best position. Same side. Okay, right on right, you want square. You're going to have to figure out a way. You're going to have to figure out a way to take this right leg and move it so that you can hit your Seoi. Or left on right. Left on right, I want him to be a little bit more square. There, yeah, this is ideal for me. This angle where my right foot is inside his, I don't want to be out here, right? I'll have to make an adjustment to bring it to the inside to then go through the throw. Those are the two for me. But guys, we're at the hour mark. I have to do a better job of cutting everybody off here. Hopefully everybody got some of the questions answered. I know I rambled on about some other things other than Seoi Nage. But make sure you guys show up to play defense to Seoi Nage. We're going to be doing an Ewaza live instructional troubleshooting, transitions, all that kind of stuff this Sunday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern time, right here in the gym. And for those of you guys who didn't know, I just released my Coffee and Medals t-shirt on judosilencer.com. Make sure you guys go check it out. They're 25 bucks. They come in a few colors. There's also some crew necks available. And you guys can head over to Judo Fanatics. Also, while everybody is here, right, I'm giving away free judo and jiu-jitsu gis from Fuji Sports. So if you want a free gi, go drop your email in on Fuji Sports. Go to the blog section. It's the first blog there. Go right to fujisports.com homepage. Scroll down, you'll see it, the thumbnail. It says free gi giveaway. If you want a judo gi, head over to Hadashida Sports. Same thing, scroll down. It's the first blog post there. It says free gi giveaway, same thumbnail. So we're giving away judo gis from Hadashida Sports. I'm giving away some BJJ gis for Fuji Sports. I got 3 more weeks. Friday, live, Fuji Sports Instagram for the Jiu-Jitsu gis. Same thing Friday, a half hour later on Hadashida Sports. Throw your email in and see if you can win yourself a free gi, okay? So I got t-shirts, judosilencer.com, 25% off, Judo Fanatics for some instructionals, Travis 25, Judo Fanatics, and I'm giving away I'm just giving stuff away, guys. I'm a crazy guy. We're giving away some gis for the next 3 weeks. Okay, you only got to enter once, and your name will be entered for all 3 weeks. But once you win, I'm taking your name out. You can't win twice. I'm removing you from that. But that's all I got time for today, guys. Hopefully everybody enjoyed it. I think Friday, we're going to do another no-gi takedown workshop where we focus on front headlocks, getting into position. Website, fujisports.com for jutsu gis. Judo gis, hadashidasports.com. T-shirts, coffee and medals, and hashtag Jiu-Jitsu is easy t-shirts are there too. Judosilencer.com. This thing, with this thing right here. Judosilencer.com. Go there. Buy some stuff. Until next time, everybody. I'll see you guys later.